Hello, this is Dino Nerd Christopher speaking, and today we're going to be covering how dinosaurs are dragons in today's Dino Nerd video. But before we do that, a couple things that I want to go over is, of course, what happened last time in the previous video about Behemoth, and of course, the upcoming announcements for this channel. So, real quick, that I was not expecting all, of course, previous video with Behemoth covering how it's not a sauropod and how all the young Earth creationists that came out of nowhere applying. We got a lot of good feedback on the last video, and I would really like, even though that people leaving their opinions in the comments section. We do live in a free country, by the way, but I was just not expecting. I was blown away by the amount of comments I got last video. So, with that out of the way, cover that real quick for upcoming, of course, videos. Of course, we have the paleontology news, of course, with the paleontology news coming up in October and November, covering all, of course, all the paleontology stuff that is going to be coming in the fall, and of course, getting that because I know you all want to see the paleontology news coming up in the fall and December. A lot of things are going to be happening towards the end of 2024. There's going to be, of course, a break from all these Dino Nerd videos, and of course, leaning into more paleontology related content, moving away from all the young Earth creationist content reacting to. I've been over the past course of this year. We've covered so much so far, and I'm so glad of all what I've accomplished in this past year of going over everything. We've accomplished so much. We've transitioned away from the dinosaur files stuff from 2022. We went into 2023, which was a transition from 2022 into 2024, and now 2024 is coming to an end, which means 2024 is going to be transitioning into 2025, and of course we're going to be covering all of the upcoming Jurassic World stuff with the brand new Rebirth. I'm going to be covering a lot of Jurassic World related stuff, including Rebirth and upcoming Jurassic World content, shifting away from young Earth content. About Dino Nerd videos, I will of course be making less Dino Nerd videos because we've already covered all the important stuff. Of course, all the stuff that I wanted to cover, we could cover a little bit in shorts and have shorter Dino Nerd videos, but not so much longer ones anymore, as we're going to be transitioning into Jurassic World and paleontology related videos. So, with announcements out of the way, and of course, I've talked about paleontology news coming up next month, so mark that on your calendars for next month. And of course, there's all the paleontology and Jurassic World content that is coming to all my social media. Now, for today, we're going to be covering how dragons aren't dinosaurs. So, real quick, I want to put up on the screen, it's time to cover the dictionary part of this Dino Nerd video. So, what is a dragon? Well, a dragon is, of course, as the dictionary covers, it's a noun, and it's a mythical monster resembling a giant reptile, sometimes known as having wings In European tradition, the dragon is typically fire-breathing, and it tends to symbolize chaos or evil. It's not taken literally. Whereas East Asia, it is usually a benefit symbol of fertility associated with water and the heavens. It has nothing to do with dinosaurs. Of course, I know how young earth creationists, including Answers in Genesis, is notorious for this, saying that in their opinion that dragons were dinosaurs in the ancient past, and were called dragons. And nowadays we call them dinosaurs because the 1800s and 18 call myself a dino nerd, and I should know it. I know it's in the 1800s, but it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't quite get it out. So we're going to have it up on the screen thanks to my editing skills of the date of when dinosaurs were first called dinosaurs. But dragons are absolutely mythical monsters. They are not dinosaurs, and they, of course, are in European art. Of course, all over Europe, even in Britain, they have them all over, and they are not dinosaurs. Dragons are mythical. They are in The Lord of the Rings and Hobbit with the Smaug. They are in Shrek. Of course, we all know about that because I know some people will mention Shrek. That comes to mind with that dragon. And of course, a lot of dragons, including Maleficent, turns into a dragon too. Now, dragons are not dinosaurs. Dragons are mythical monsters that are usually symbolized as chaos or evil. They are not dinosaurs. With that out of the way, we are going to be covering now some verses about dragons. So real quick, now turning to the Bible part of the Dino Nerd video using the Bible, we are going to be looking at some Bible verses that talk about dragons that many young earthers might talk about. So we're going to turn to Ezekiel 29:3, King James Version. I know I got that wrong in the previous Dino Nerd video, but now we're going to be covering the King James Version. Now, this is the King James Version. In Ezekiel now, speak and say, Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I am against thee, Pharaoh, king of Egypt. The great dragon lieth in the midst of his. Now, Ezekiel is talking about the Pharaoh. It's not talking about a dinosaur or a dragon. I want to get that out of the way. So, Ezekiel has nothing to do with dinosaurs. So we can toss Ezekiel and debunk Ezekiel and get that out of the way. So now we're going to be turning to another Bible verse. It's the dictionary. I clicked on the wrong one. All right, turn to Micah 1:8. Micah 1:8, King James Version. Therefore I will wail and howl, and I will go stripped and naked, and I will make a wailing like the dragons and mourning as the owls. Now, I found this verse very fascinating because, hypothetically, if this is talking about dinosaurs, that would be cool to imagine that they made wailing noises, and would, just as a hypothetical, that if this is, then that would be so cool. But, however, turning back to reality now, Micah is probably talking about some other sort of creature, not a dinosaur. And let me go into it real quick. Micah, of course, mentions owls in this verse, and it's talking about dragons. Now, what exactly is Micah 1:8, referring to 1:8, is probably talking about some sort of serpent. Now, we know that dragons and serpents go hand in hand in the Bible, so it could be talking about some sort of serpent. We know that serpents can make hissing sounds, or it could be talking about a different creature. Now, it's not talking about a dinosaur because we know that we don't know what dinosaurs sounded like. So it could be either a different creature or it could be hypothetically something else. We don't know for sure what Micah 1:8 is talking about, but it's certainly not talking about it because we don't know what dinosaurs sounded like. It could be a completely different an animal, it could be a hypothetical, it could be anything. We don't really know for sure, and to state an opinion on it and say that it's a dinosaur and state an absolute opinion is not science, not scientific at all, and therefore should not be assumed as to what it is because we don't know for sure what it is. It could be anything, and we don't want to put opinions on scripture, and we don't want to, of course, assume. No assuming allowed. No assuming. Last but not least, we're going to be covering Revelations. I know Revelations talks a lot about dragons, and that the last thing that we have to cover about how dinosaurs aren't dragons is that we have to look at Revelation now. Turning to the book of Revelations, we are smack dab in the middle of a verse that talks about dragons. Now, most of the verses in the Bible talk about dragons, and most dragon verses that are in the Bible that most people get wrong is that dragons, whenever it says dragons, it can also refer to Satan or the devil, and that he's also called a serpent and the dragon. So he could probably, I don't know, putting this out on a limb, turn into a mythical flying dragon with wings, but that's not mythical at all. But to say that he can turn into a dinosaur is completely no. He could probably turn into a dinosaur, but that's not what the Bible is not. What the point is that I'm trying to make is that in Revelation, it talks about dragons, and of course, whenever it talks about dragons, that we have to take into account that it could also be referring to the devil or Satan. And last but not least, we have to look at the alarming amount of people that believe dinosaurs and humans lived at the same time. Now, about 40% to 38% believe that dinosaurs and humans existed at the same time, which of course is wrong and false, but we live in a free country and a free world, so we're going to have different opinions of different people believing in different things, whether it's flat earth, young earth, maybe in the future there might be a triangle earth, who knows. I'm just trying to make a point, and that with that out of the way, with the Revelations out of the way, I hope you enjoyed all that I had to talk about dragons, how they're not dinosaurs, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So hope you learned something, had something to take away from this. Until next time, Dino Nerd signing off.